For years, people have had their chance to tell their side of the story. And now it's my turn. And now that everybody's on the record telling their side of the story, somebody needs to be able to connect all the dots with all that evidence that is the irrefutable statement of what actually transpired between me and the McMahons while I had my career in the WWF.
Welcome to the next century of wrestling news, commentary, and entertainment, presenting the truth to expose the lies and show you the full context of wrestling, because there's two sides for many of these situations. Each episode of the Ultimate Responses series features content you won't hear anywhere else. So thank you for listening. This episode is brought to you by NextCenturyWrestling.com, where you can watch uncut versions of these shows without any interference from the WWE or YouTube. So go to NextCenturyWrestling.com to see what you've been missing today. Jake Roberts lies again is not exactly news for many wrestling fans, but some of the more recent lies have been used by people to prove or support their criticisms against other wrestlers. So here is what Jake the Fake said about Warrior.
Well, I never actually worked with him. Probably the most frustrating thing I ever went through in my life was getting a phone call, and it was Vince saying, you need to go see the Ultimate Warrior. I said, see for what? I said, you need to go ask him if he'll wrestle you for the belt. I'm like, what? He said, you need to get his permission. I'm like, you fucking serious? And I had to go ask him to please wrestle me for, do an angle with me. And he went off on me pretty strong. I don't care about you and your fucking problems, your fucking addiction, your fucking dog, I don't give a fuck. I just want to make fucking money, so you fucking better show up, motherfucker, every fucking night. You don't give me any fucking problems and all this bullshit. And fuck you, cocksucker.
We use facts and logic on this show, and that logic says memory may not be Jake's strong point. So while in our opinion, Warrior probably did not say he did not care about Jake's family, we have no way to know for sure. However, he absolutely would say he did not care for how Jake's personal problems were an issue, and his main concern was Jake's reliability. Jake says Warrior lectured him about showing up. Why was that, Jake? You may not remember what happened in March 1990 when you were supposed to be in tag team matches with Warrior, but did not show up. So Warrior had to wrestle a handicap match to make up for it, which means he was correct to be concerned about future matches with you or about your inability to show up for them.
Then we started doing all these vignettes. I had to take time off, which meant no money.
Why did you have to take time off? Warrior did the same vignettes and it did not cost him time off, as he wrestled 13 matches in July of 1991, continuing with 13 matches in August of 1991. But you, Jake, only wrestled 4 matches in July and 1 in August and only 3 in September. Where were you? Were you really shooting vignettes for months without Warrior? Or could it be you took some time off to get help for your problems?
And then what happens? He winds up getting shit canned, and I lose the money. I was finally going to get my run with the champ, which is when you're making money, and got fucked again, man.
Some wrestling news sites use what Jake says here as yet another cheap shot to trash Warrior. And it sounds something like this. After years of battling countless problems, Jake was set to get his shot at the top spot in the industry with a run of matches for the WWE title, with the WWE champion, the Ultimate Warrior. There's only one problem. Warrior was not the champion. So we hate to break this to you, Jake, but even if you were to wrestle Warrior then, it would not have been for the title. You see, Warrior had not been champion for 7 months. So you were not screwed out of any championship. Or, to put it another way, what happened at SummerSlam had absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with you. and it had zero effects on your career. Because what happened to you after Warrior left? You were put with Savage, then Taker, two former WWE champions. So you had two high-profile feuds, same as if you were with Warrior. And the snakebite for you with Savage was the top angle. So it's not as if you suffered. Then you went on to wrestle Taker in WrestleMania, another high-profile spot for you. But apparently it's much better to whine about how unfair the business was to you. And if only Warrior had stayed, you would have been the WWE champion. Yes, these are all fun fantasies to have in your head, but it's pathetic to hear you say them out loud. So that segues to the next segment, as it's time for us to play Count the Lies.
At SummerSlam in the Garden, he holds Vince McMahon up for $1 million.
Warrior did not hold McMahon up. It was money McMahon had promised him. And it was not $1 million, it was $550,000.
They had to bring $1 million in cash to him at the arena. Cash.
2 sentences, 2 lies here. And the second was only 1 word. There was no cash payment. McMahon wrote Warrior a check for $550,000. But it's fun to see how Jake not only lies, he makes up specific details along the way.
And they had to have 2 guards to get that money out of there to wherever he wanted it to go before he would go to the ring.
2 guards and $1 million now. That never happened either. However, this fantasy is at least entertaining, so if you need to lie, why not go all out?
Now I'm hearing this stuff going, this is not cool, this is not good, knowing that tomorrow I start my program with him. Tomorrow.
We went through this before in a past show. McMahon and Warrior wrote about those issues 7 weeks before SummerSlam. So McMahon planned to suspend him then. And there never was any tomorrow for Jake and Warrior. And that's why McMahon started the Jake Savage angle at SummerSlam, with Savage getting the snake as a present.
But after his match, it was announced that there was not going to be a tomorrow because Vince McMahon was standing right beside me when he fired him.
Again, Warrior was not fired. It was a suspension. But now we learn that for the alternate universe in Jake's head, McMahon owns Madison Square Garden. Why not?
You're fired. Get the fuck out of my building. Vince looked at me and said, you've got the worst friggin' luck there is. Hogan couldn't do it. People chanting the wrong thing. Work with Macho, got to cut it short, and now this. Well, I was friggin' furious because now I've lost another championship run.
Poor Jake. Always someone else's fault. Here's some context. Jake and Warrior both returned to the WWE the same year. When Warrior returned, he looked like this. When Jake returned, he looked like this. Come on, Jake. You were never in shape, but did you even try? Or you're getting paid either way, so why do any more than you have to? The point is, what Warrior always says is true. You only get out of something what you put into it. And Warrior put way more effort, work, and energy into it, while you chose to half-ass your way through your career, and now you're not happy with the results. So you try to pass it off onto others. But you see, Jake, there are 2 types of people. Those who make things happen, and those who make excuses. And it's not Warrior or anybody else's responsibility to make anything happen for you. It's your responsibility. And to give you credit, honestly, you did. Fans wanted to see you. You drew well. But you allowed your personal problems to interfere. So if you really want to know whose fault it was that you were not WWE champion, stop by your nearest mirror. There's your answer. Warrior was set to return to the WWE to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2014 for WrestleMania 30. When Jake was asked about it, he said he wasn't sure why they were allowing assholes to be in the Hall of Fame. Then it was announced that Jake was to also enter. And Warrior made these two posts on Twitter to reply.
We've all been a-holes. Now 2 are HOF inductees, each great yet unique in talent, each deserving. Congrats, Jake. Now who will be the next a-hole inducted? This a-hole theme for WWE HOF class of 2014 is becoming interesting. I like it. Let's run with it.
Jake posted this response to his Twitter.
I was trying to be entertaining with the radio show and took things too far, like I do too often. I have no business inferring anything negative about him. I apologize. He deserves the HOF and respect for what he accomplished in the business. Without realizing or intending to, I fired the first shot and will take Jim's response without any negativity towards him. I apologize and am putting it behind me.
That statement does not sound like Jake, so it may be either WWE, DDP, or both instructed Jake to say it. Nonetheless, it did seem sincere. Unfortunately, it turned out to be another lie, as Jake now says he was not past his resentment of Warrior.
So we go to the Hall of Fame. I'm wanting to get my 2 cents worth in because of the way he treated me in the locker room. I wanted to knock him out. That was in the back of my mind. I turned a corner and he was right there. And I stopped and he looked at me and he goes, "Jake, please let me apologize to you." He was so humble, so sincere. My mouth just fell open. Is this the same damn guy? He said, "I know I screwed you out of millions. I'm so sorry." Then he turned around and made himself available for my kids and my grandchildren, and I had to let it go.
But you didn't let it go, because years later you continue to lie about or take these cheap shots against someone who isn't here anymore. And there is no way Warrior said he was so sorry. You lied about that too. He had nothing to be sorry about. And he did not cost you millions. Plus, we have reports from people who were actually there and saw it to confirm that he did not say any of that. He was nice to you, the same way that he was nice to everybody else he saw there. And we also have it on good authority. You were not in any shape or form that weekend to hit anybody. So that was another lie. And by the way, there's 3 versions of this fantasy. Initially, you said you did not want to talk to Warrior. Then it was, you turned the corner and he was there. And the current version is that he taps you on the shoulder from behind. So you can't even settle on what fantasy to tell. But that's your pattern, isn't it, Jake? To have people feel sorry for you. Honky hit you too hard with a real guitar, so you would turn to drugs. Even though you were in and out of rehab for years before it happened. You tell fans it broke your neck so you had to have surgery. But you never mentioned the surgery was 2 years later. Which means you wrestled for 2 years with a broken neck? Honky says it was a prop guitar, and experts who build those guitars say there's no way it was real. So we're not sure it's responsible for all your problems, as you always like to tell fans. But it's similar to how you say the same fans cost you a title run with Hogan. Face it, Jake, you have so many excuses for not getting that title, it's hilarious. And here's an interesting side note. Jake's real name is Aurelian. We think that it's strangely appropriate. Watch what happens if we were to replace the N with an R. It spells out Aurelier. And that's a perfect name for Jake, isn't it? Okay, it's time to wrap this up. So for those of you who have seen some of the past shows, you know that we like to sign off or end with the Warrior response. Well, we're sorry. He didn't say much about Jake.
I mean, he's a liar, he's a lech, he's a loser. And there's not much more to say.
That completely sums everything up, so that's it for this episode. Please feel free to email us your comments or questions, nextcenturywrestling@gmail.com. And the store is open now. Check out the awesome Warrior merchandise there whenever you have some time. We are trying to raise money for the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, so every purchase helps in more ways than you know. You can access the store if you go to nextcenturywrestling.com, then click the link for it. We also encourage you to sign up for the Warrior Forums, an excellent place for you to connect with Warrior fans everywhere. You can get into the forums on nextcenturywrestling.com as well. If you remember to hit share and subscribe, we appreciate it, because now that YouTube has cowered to the WWE, they are not promoting the channel the way they used to. So we can use all the help we can get in order to release more content to counter the lies about Warrior. Our next episode is out soon. We will see you then. Thank you so much for listening. We are always here to entertain you. We are Next Century Wrestling.
Peace.